My name's Adam Thomas and I'm from St Cuthbert's in Lytham. Well, I'm not really, I'm from Swansea, but the last year as deacon has been amazing. It's really hard. Lots of my friends have nothing to do with church, and trying to explain to them what I do. Most people think you work 1 day a week and you nominally get 1 day off a week. The things that have really shaped me, the things that have had the most impact are the simplest things, the things that anybody in ministry would recognise. Going to someone's house and sharing communion with them, visiting people when they're sick, praying quietly with somebody, worshipping together, or holding the hand of someone when they're dying. They're kind of monumental moments that that sharing of God with each other on a really personal level. I've loved baptising children and infants and adults, helping people with their marriage preparation, and on the day of their marriage, taking a lot of funerals, and that I was a bit nervous about that, about saying the wrong thing or making a mistake that would upset people. But in fact, it's such a privilege to spend time with people when they're grieving, and to be able to bring them at least some comfort and ensure that the service reflects the person that they're both grieving and remembering. I can remember every one of the people. I can remember each of the families. It's incredible how much of that sticks with you. But most of all, it's the relationships with people. I've got a great training incumbent, I've got to say that, it's on video. But Nick is experienced and kind and understanding. I talk a lot of theology, and it can get really boring at times, and he's never once looked bored, so he's done very well with that. He's been coming back from multiple myeloma, and his openness about that with the wider community and with me has been hugely inspirational. But the people in the parish, they're just so friendly. Even a year in, it still feels like a honeymoon period. At the end of services, when you're chatting with people and holding their hand, there's just a connection that wearing a collar gets you, that you don't appreciate until it happens. So it has been transformational. It's also been quite hard. It's been hard to go out for a meal with your wife and she has to put up with 30 people coming and talking to you. It's quite difficult. For some people, their experience of church has not been good, and they need to let someone know about that, and you're it usually. And also the sense that you can't do all the things that people want, that 6 days, 7 days a week isn't enough to meet people's needs, and so there are times you feel really guilty about not getting to someone, and learning how to cope with that's been a big part this year as well. Developing lead is obviously a big part of Vision 2026. We've had a large group of people who just get on and do at the church, and have done it for years, and they don't recognise what they're doing, either as discipleship or leadership. And part of it is just holding a mirror up to them and saying, you're really good at doing that, and have you thought about doing it a bit more? We've also had some new people come in. We had a really good children's worker, and then there was a gap. And a group of younger mums have come forward and have been trained. In fact, they're about to take a 4-week course in training and set up our Sunday school, and that's just gone from strength to strength. And they bring a different dynamic, a different sort of leadership. Somebody, just a few months ago, I was talking to them and I was saying all of the wonderful things that you do and the way in which you are an example to others. And I talked to them about the fact that every Wednesday they help set up our a toddler group, which would get 60 people attending. And she said, well, that's just what you do, isn't it? And I had to go through it and say, no, it's not just what you do. Think of the process that you take for granted, and encourage them to see that service to God, that service is gift, and they don't even think about it. They could be doing anything else, but not that. And slowly but surely, through a course of Alpha and through Bible study, and we're about to launch a second course of Alpha now in September, helping people who are on the fringes of church or want to know but are a bit nervous about getting involved. Our experience of the last group is that out of that came the new group of leaders, new people that want to take things forward, that want to develop their discipleship, their following Jesus, and seeing where that will lead them. And that's people at different ages, of all different walks of life. It's been really wonderful to help develop that and help them grow. The biggest group that I'm working with at the moment is actually teenagers, We meet in Costa Coffee once a week, and they have helped to develop a puppet ministry. They work with the younger children. We're working on a pilgrimage together, and they ask the really, really tough questions. I mean, sat in Costa around well, it's not a coffee. I'm the only one that drinks coffee. They have these amazingly different drinks. But they'll ask the most direct questions, the most difficult questions that challenge you, that really challenge me, and that we then have to share on WhatsApp afterwards to make sure that people have understood it and delve that bit further. That's 11 to 16-year-olds asking the kind of questions that I think most people wonder whether young people ask. Well, they are asking them. They're profoundly asking them. And as a church, we need to be able to answer them in the language they understand. I have to say that I've been really busy and I've loved it. I've really loved it. I actually said last November, if I stay a deacon for the rest of my life, if I stay curate for the rest of my life, I'd be happy. And then slowly but surely, something subconsciously begins to tug at you. And for probably the last 6 to 8 weeks, the whole idea of priesthood, and particularly presiding at the Eucharist, that change, which seems from the outside quite a small one, because the ministry that I do won't be that different, but actually is really fundamental to me. And the sense of, once again, feeling unfit for it, feeling unworthy of it, has been profound. I'm really looking forward to going on retreat to get some space and some time, to take my first Eucharist on Sunday, and then to be able to do that. I can bless things but not people. That means I get to bless people when their bodies when they die, but not them whilst they're alive. It seems a really strange thing, a strange discipline within the church. But there is a sense of completion for me, and it's been over 30 years since I first heard the call to priesthood, and to finally do that this Saturday. Bishop Julian's told me that he doesn't want me crying at the point of ordination, and I can't promise anything.